Welcome to the reading of the Times Reporter newspaper for Tuesday the 10th. My name is Pam, and let's begin our reading with the area deaths. Bertha R. Welsh Donato England, 82, of Newcomerstown, died Saturday, November 7th. Services will be Thursday, November 12th at 1 p.m. at the Addy Funeral Home in Newcomerstown. Visitation will be held 1 hour prior to the service at the funeral home. Roberta Denise Lee, known as Robin, 65, of Scio, passed away on Saturday, November 7th, at the Community Hospice Truman House in New Philadelphia, following a brief illness. Graveside service at 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday at Pleasant Valley Cemetery at Tappan Lake. Her family will receive callers from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. at the cemetery. All who attend are asked to wear facial covering and maintain social distancing. Edward L. Paris, known as Ed, 69, of Dover, passed away Friday, November 6th in his home following a period of declining health. In keeping with his wishes, Ed is to be cremated through the care of the Guy Tuscarawas Valley Crematory, and no services are to be scheduled. Tanya D. Whiting, 61, of Bolivar, stepped away early Saturday, November 7th. A visitation will be held on Thursday, November 12th, from 10 to 11 p.m. in the Gieb Funeral Center at Dover. Immediately following, a celebration of Tanya's life and burial will take place in the Dover Burial Park. Well, that concludes the area readings of today's deaths from the online edition. We will now begin our first article. Sex crime sentence stayed, pending the outcome of appeal for former Newcomerstown area man, by Nancy Molnar. A Columbus resident who formerly lived in the Newcomerstown area is planned to appeal his conviction for gross sexual imposition involving a 15-year-old girl. For that reason, Tuscarawas County Common Pleas Judge Edward O'Farrell delayed imposing the sentence he gave to George W. Jones, Jr., 35, on Monday. If Jones wins his appeal, any loss of liberty experienced as the result of the punishment cannot be given back to you, O'Farrell told him. An appeal could take 6 to 9 months. O'Farrell sentenced Jones to 18 months in prison, which is not to be served unless he would violate terms of 2 years probation. Probation is to include successful completion of a residential treatment program for sex offenders at the Stark Regional Community Correction Center in Louisville. Any time spent in prison would be subject to credit for 6 days spent in the county jail. If Jones loses his appeal, he would be designated a Tier 1 sex offender, required to register his address with the sheriff of the county in which he lives for 15 years. Jones was convicted of having sexual contact with a 15-year-old, knowing her ability to resist or consent was impaired by sleep. The date of the offense is listed in court records as June 2, 2019. Jones remains free on his own recognizance. Assistant Public Defender Mark Perlocki represented Jones. He asked for the imposition of sentence to be delayed pending the outcome of Jones' appeal. Assistant County Prosecutor Scott Diedrich asked for the sentence to start immediately. He said Jones entered the girl's locked bedroom to commit the offense. She has suffered serious emotional and psychological harm, he said. Up next, Denison Fire Department raising funds for a new station. The Denison Fire Department is raising funds for a new fire station auxiliary garage through private donations and support from local businesses. A new fire station auxiliary garage will provide additional space for ambulances and help decrease the overall response time for emergencies in the immediate vicinity. The Village of Denison and the Fire Department have been seeking private investments from local foundations, businesses, and community members, raising almost $165,000 towards the $250,000 total goal in hopes of needing no taxpayer money for the project. Support has been provided by the Reeves Foundation, Doris and Floyd Kimball Foundation, and Rosenberry Foundation. Private donors have also provided support. About $50,000 has been raised from building sponsors, material discounts, and business donations. Lauren International, First National Bank of Denison, North Star Metals, Stockers, Wayne Door, Denison Bridge, and Brotherhood Heating and Cooling have all contributed funding, supplies, and services. The village continues to raise the remaining funding needed and is still seeking building sponsorships and private donations. To make a donation, you can call 740-922-4072. Our next article, Joshua D. Patterson gets 15 years to life for child rapes, by Nancy Molnar. A 41-year-old city man has been sentenced to 15 years to life in prison for raping a girl when she was 9 years old and 10 years old. Joshua D. Patterson will serve a life sentence unless he receives parole, which he may seek after 15 years. Tuscarawas County Common Pleas Judge Elizabeth Lehigh Tamakis sentenced Joshua D. Patterson on Monday. The aggregate sentence includes 15 years to life for raping the girl when she was 9 and 10 years to life for raping her when she was 10. The punishment also covers a conviction for gross sexual imposition. The judge ordered the sentence to be served at the same time. Patterson was convicted of the charges in a jury trial held Thursday and Friday before Tamakis. County Prosecutor Ryan Steyer has asked for the sentences to be served consecutively, which would have delayed Patterson's parole eligibility until after he had served 25 years in prison. But Tamakis said she had to consider making the sentence consistent with other issued in the same court for similar crimes. She said she did not want to appear to punish the defendant for seeking a jury trial. About 98% of common pleas cases are resolved without a trial. In most cases, the sentence is imposed after a defendant admits to the crime. Given the chance to speak in court Monday, Patterson said, "I just sit here humbly and extremely remorseful today." He said he would not be able to raise his family, see his girls go to college, or watch them marry and start their own families. "I never intended to hurt you guys," he said. "I'm so sorry." The judge told him she would have liked to have heard more remorse about the consequences for the victim. She said the victim reported feeling happy and sad because Patterson was in jail. Steyer said Patterson had not shown genuine remorse, although he said in his confession that he was disgusted with himself. He also very clearly minimized his acts in terms of the frequency and duration, Steyer said. "I don't know that the minimization of one's conduct is consistent with genuine remorse." Tamakis gave Patterson credit for 193 days already served in the county jail. As a Tier 3 sex offender, he is required to register his address for life with the sheriff of the county in which he lives. He intends to return to Tuscarawas County. He will serve 5 years on parole after his release from prison. He has no criminal record. Neither the victim nor any member of her family spoke in court. The offenses occurred between April 21, 2019 and April 21st of this year. New Philadelphia police investigated the rapes, indicated they occurred in the city. Defendant said Monday in court that he will appeal his conviction. Judge Tamakis assigned Canton attorney Jacob Will to represent Patterson in his appeal. He was represented at trial by Aaron Kowalczyk of Canton and Assistant Tuscarawas County Public Defender Nicole Steffen. Up next, United Way continues to support local services for the working uninsured. Since 2009, the United Way of Tuscarawas County has continued to provide critical funding to the Tuscarawas Clinic for the Working Uninsured, or the TCWU. Grants provided by the United Way of Tuscarawas County support essential operations of the clinic. The clinic is a nonprofit 501c3 corporation founded in an effort to improve access to health care for working uninsured citizens ages 18 to 64 who live in Tuscarawas County and are at or below 199% of the federal poverty level. In 2019, the TCWU saw 173 active patients with 544 visits, including 54 new patients to the clinic. Additionally, Dental services provided 30 patients with over $17,000 of free dental care. Among the services provided by the TCWU, women have access to services including Pap tests and mammograms. Additionally, the clinic has a contact with the Breast and Cervical Cancer Project, or the BCCP, that will assist with additional testing if needed for any breast and cervical related issues identified during the Pap or mammogram. These services enable our patients to receive additional free care outside the clinic structure. Additionally, the TCWU Healthcare Navigator assists patients if their medical needs surpass the resources of the clinic. The Navigator will assist the patient in applying for Medicaid or insurance through the marketplace. Other health-related services may be offered to patients through other social service agencies. The clinic is staffed by physicians, physician assistants, nurses, nurse practitioners, social workers, volunteers, and others who believe that good health can be reached and maintained through the proper balance of exercise, nutrition, medical care, and education. All of these services are provided free to qualifying patients. Grants provided by the United Way of Tuscarawas County are vital for the operations of the clinic and cover costs such as rent, utilities, business and clinic associated needs, and payroll. The clinic would not survive without the grants from the United Way, explained Pat Warther, Executive Director of TCWU. Funding for this program continues to be a priority of the United Way of Tuscarawas County, and local support in fundraising efforts make it all possible. To make a donation to your United Way of Tuscarawas County, please visit tuskunitedway.org. Up next, county sets a new record for active COVID-19 infections. In Dover, the number of active COVID-19 cases in Tuscarawas County has grown by more than 100 since Friday. The county health department was reporting 475 active cases Monday, which is up 360 from 3 days before. Spokesperson Jennifer DeMuth described the increase as large and concerning. She asked residents to be patient, as officials have a lot of patients and close contacts to notify. The county also logged its 49th virus-related death on Monday. Health officials say the person who died was 87 years old and a female. 39 people were hospitalized prior to the announcement. This next article, Agency explains local needs for foster parents and adopters. Tuscarawas County Job and Family Services is hoping to get the right people to consider opening their doors as foster parents. Adoption specialist Rob Ratanis says JFS has custody of 85 children as of late October, but Tuscarawas County only has about 22 licensed family foster homes right now, so many of those kids have to live outside of the area. Ratanis says prospective foster parents can start the process of getting licensed by visiting the County JFS website. It takes about 6 months and includes 6 weeks of pre-service classes and a study of the home. Ratanis says adoptions are also down for the year. Usually they do 30 adoptions a year, but this year the county is only at 12. He says they're bringing awareness to this through November, which is National Adoption Month. Village giveaways, more CARES Act money. Newcomerstown. 36 Newcomerstown businesses, churches, and nonprofits are benefiting from the village's CARES Act grant program. Mayor Pat Cadell says he delivered checks totaling over $72,000 last Wednesday to the second batch of grant recipients. He says between those and the grants they awarded earlier this fall, they've given away just over half of the $230,000 the village received from the government. Cadell wasn't willing to disclose the recipients for privacy reasons, but says all were grateful for the assistance. He says they modeled the effort after the Restart Tusk program that provided similar grants to businesses at the county level. And now, Denison awards contract for fire department building, seeks donations. The village is still seeking donations for the fire department's new storage building. Mayor Greg DiDonato says they've raised about $175,000 so far, with about $50,000 of that coming from individuals and civic groups, and the rest from grants. He says they still need another $35,000 for materials, which the village is getting at a discount. DiDonato says they ended up rebidding the project after the first round of quotes came back higher than expected. He says they were originally hoping to start construction yet this fall, but the work probably won't start now until March or April. Checks made payable to the village with fire garage in the memo line can be dropped off at the village hall or mailed to 302 Grant Street, Denison. Bolivar area girls' wish comes true with the gift of a camper by Amy L. Knapp and Rick Stillion. In Cambridge, Elena Numbers has asked Make-A-Wish to fulfill her dream of visiting the happiest place on earth, Disney World, but the pandemic got in the way. Instead, Elena's family took possession of a 2021 Crossroads Zinger travel trailer from Stoney's RV on Friday. "I like it," 4-year-old Elena, who was diagnosed with severe aplastic anemia, exclaimed as she saw the camper and several other gifts, including a popcorn maker, s'mores kit, and a small tent. The first duties for Elena upon entering the 18-foot camper was to pick up her bed and check out the bathroom. Top priorities for a child in a trailer that seems to match the young family perfectly. "We had just received the trailer and didn't even have it listed online yet," said Tim Boggiovanni of Stoney's RV. "We were contacted by the Make-A-Wish people and we sent the information to the parents, who just loved it. The timing worked out perfect," he added. Make-A-Wish, an international organization, grants wishes for children diagnosed with critical illnesses. "We meet some wonderful people, and to be able to help grant a wish is wonderful," said Tom and Deb Kenny of Make-A-Wish of Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. "They touch our lives, and we get to see happiness when their wish is fulfilled." A little girl made a wish, and now she is happy. She will remember this for the rest of her life, added the Kinneys, who will follow the lives of the children granted wishes via social media. "We consider them our children too," the Kinneys said. Travel on hold. As COVID-19 numbers surge across the country, travel wishes have been put on hold, said Katie Farrell, Marketing and Communication Manager for the local branch of Make-A-Wish. Kids waiting on wishes were given the option to wait until it's safe to grant their travel plans or to make another wish, she said. "Lots of kids are choosing to wait, but a lot of kids are reimagining their wishes," Farrell said. From play sets to tree houses, shopping sprees, gaming systems, and even a horse, the nonprofit group has been busy granting wishes. "The kids have been so creative," she said. "It's been really nice during these uncertain times that we can deliver a dose of hope when it's needed the most." Farrell said the travel restrictions did leave many kids disappointed, but there has been a silver lining to those revamped wishes. People realized they now had a long-term gift rather than a one-time gift. During the last fiscal year, which runs from September 1 to August 31st and includes 6 months of the pandemic, the local group granted 531 wishes. The previous fiscal year, they granted nearly 800 wishes, Farrell said. Max and Ruby inspired. At their home near the Stark-Tuscarora County border in Lawrence Township, the Numbers family discussed Elena's wish and the complications with the pandemic. "I told her we could go to Disney any time when this all clears up," Mom Ashley Numbers said. They discussed a number of options, but Elena's favorite TV show gave her mom an idea. After the characters in the children's animated cartoon Max and Ruby went camping, Elena took to pretending to take her own camping trip. Her mother wondered if Elena would want a camper of her own. She said absolutely, a purple camper. There are no plans set for the first trip in the new camper, but Ashley Numbers thinks they might plan a trip so that the 4-year-old can mine for gemstones. She's really into gemstones, her mom said. Saving Elena. At the age of 3, Elena was diagnosed with severe aplastic anemia, a rare and serious blood disorder. According to the National Heart, Lung and Blood Institute, aplastic anemia occurs when bone marrow cannot make enough new blood cells for the body to function normally. Fewer than 20,000 cases are diagnosed per year. Blood work revealed Elena had a platelet count of 7,000. The normal range is 150,000 to 450,000 platelets per microliter of blood. Testing revealed Elena's bone marrow was only working at 30% efficiency. Treatment of the condition included a bone marrow transplant or taking medication. Elena's younger brother Michael was a perfect match. Bone marrow makes more than 200 billion new blood cells every day. In September 2019, he donated bone marrow to his sister. According to Johns Hopkins Medicine, most cases of severe aplastic anemia are autoimmune disorders in which the body's own immune system attacks tissues and organs. Thanks to the donation of bone marrow from her brother, Elena has a reborn immune system and a camping buddy as the now 2-year-old kicked off his shoes and made himself at home on his first trip into the camper. Ashley Numbers said more than a year after her transplant, Elena's immune system is where it should be. Amid the pandemic, the Numbers family is taking precautions to keep Elena safe as she continues to build immunity. But doctors say Elena is at no greater risk of catching the COVID-19 virus than any other children, her mother said. The 4-year-old is attending preschool 3 days a week and loves it. She has been receiving vaccinations, but must wait at least 2 years before getting any live vaccinations. She's handling everything well, Ashley Numbers said. We talked about it, and she knows there is a sickness. We've been cautious, especially me. The Christmas Tree Festival is set to shine Saturday. The Cleveland Clinic Union Hospital Auxiliary isn't letting the virus pandemic stop them from hosting their biggest fundraiser of the year to support patient care at the hospital. First Vice President Angie Thomas said the annual Christmas Tree Festival returns to the Werther's Museum in Dover this Saturday through November 22nd with staggered entry times, group size limits, and the number of trees cut in half to promote social distancing. She said they decided it was better to change things up than to have to cancel the event that brought in more than $188,000 for the hospital last year. Festival admission is $5 for adults and free for 12 and under. The number of tickets available at the door will be limited, so Thomas encourages those planning to attend to buy them ahead of time through the museum's website. And the Red Kettles are returning on Thursday. The Dover New Philadelphia Salvation Army is kicking off its holiday Red Kettle campaign this week with extra precautions and giving options this year. Commander Lieutenant Andrew Allen says the kettle will start appearing in stores Thursday, eventually making their way to about 10 locations. He says they're still recruiting volunteers to sign up for a 2-hour shift between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. on any day from Monday to Saturday. Allen says new this year, people will be able to donate over their phones or by scanning QR codes posted out at the kettles. Donors can also give to the virtual Red Kettle with a link to the local Salvation Army's Facebook page. And now, New Philly Rotary seeking Storybook Lane sponsors. The Civic Club that has been repairing and repainting the Storybook Lane's 24 Mother Goose characters is asking the community to help fund the effort by sponsoring the display. The New Philadelphia Rotary Club is hoping to add a few more names to the Friends card appearing at the end of the display that will go up at Tuscarora Park shortly after Thanksgiving. Project Chair Tom Police said the cost for a 3-year listing is $100 with an unlimited number of spots available. He says the Marlite the characters were painted on more than 60 years ago has started to deteriorate, so the club has been replacing a few of them each year with replicas painted on aluminum. Police says you can visit the New Philadelphia Rotary Club's website to print off a sponsorship form or send a check with the inscription you would like to have listed on the memo line to P.O. Box 331 in New Philadelphia. Well, my friends, This concludes the reading of the Times Reporter for Tuesday, November the 10th. My name is Pam. Remember to stay safe. Many blessings upon you today. And remember, do what you can do to make today a great day.